Hi everybody, I'm Scott Spradling, guest host of the New Hampshire Automotive Education Foundation's Race to 5K. Today we're sitting down with Adam Memmolo. He's the service manager for Grappone Auto Group's Ford, Hyundai, and Mazda dealerships right here in Concord. Adam Memmolo, service manager with Grappone Automotive Group, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to sit down with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Let's talk about the job opportunities for young people who might be looking at the auto tech type career path and are trying to figure it all out. So let me just start with this. What are the differences of a skill set between someone who comes to you looking for a job who's had some college experience and may be certified versus someone who has maybe gone through high school and taken a couple classes but hasn't taken any extra steps?
So you can certainly get to the same end result. If you go to college, or if you don't, you can become a certified technician. The difference is if you go to college post-secondary and you get that training, it's far more in depth. It's a lot faster as well. So what you could accomplish in 2 years going to a post-secondary school is going to take you anywhere from 3 to 7 years if you do it on your own, going to a dealership, or even if you went to an independent and started to get ASE certifications and things like that.
When someone comes through the door and they're looking for a job from you in your service department, what are you looking for in a new hire?
It's a great question. Some of the things I look for with a new hire when I'm interviewing them is a lot more, I would say, soft skills and things like that. I'm more interested in what their drive is. Why are they waking up in the morning? What are they interested in? We can teach anyone to turn a wrench, but if you can't come to work, put your phone down, get to work and do a great job, those are the things that are important to us.
That makes a lot of sense. What might be 3 or so tips that you might pass along to a young person who wants to impress you, who's going to come through the door for the job interview? What tips might you pass along?
So when I'm getting ready to interview someone, I look for a few different things. One of them would be, don't be late. Show up to the interview on time. That's key. If you're late, you're already kind of on the naughty list at that point. After that, once they show up, I don't expect them to show up in a suit and tie or something like that for this job interview. You can dress up for the role. Maybe don't dress up with tattered jeans, ripped and not presentable, but dress the part that you're interviewing for. And when you come in, be honest. We ask a number of questions, and we want to know what we're hiring when you come in. So it's better that you be honest than to oversell yourself and then come in and underperform. So those would be a few key areas that I look at.
That's really good advice. So let's say I'm coming to you, I've got zero experience, but I've got this great draw, I'm seeing what you do and love it and really want to get involved with it. Where would I turn first, and maybe what's the quickest way to get hired without any experience?
So there's 2 paths to get hired with no experience. One would be to sign up for a post-secondary school. So if you sign up for your local community college, they're going to help you with job placement, and they're going to give you some factory training. That factory training alone is enough for me to kind of give you a second look when I see that come in on an application. The second way to get in, honestly, is just come in and expect to be the low man on the totem pole. When we talk about doing basic service like oil changes, cleaning up the shop, taking out the trash, things like that, if you come in willing to do that, that's where you start. And then when you show up and you do that day in and day out, we give you the opportunities to improve. We give you the tools and resources for you to learn and grow as a technician. So you can go both paths.
So let's expand on that. So let's say you've hired me, I'm on that first rung, I'm doing your oil changes. What are you looking for from me in terms of career advancement, and what might I be able to do to impress you to be able to move up that ladder?
So realistically, you don't need to impress me to move up the ladder, and that's the beauty of this business. Everything that you have and all the resources are at your fingertips to move as quickly or as slowly as you take them. So when you start with Ford, for example, we're going to sign you up with Ford Motor Company, and they're going to give you some online courses that are available to take at your leisure. I've had technicians get them done in as little as 3 months, and some technicians get them done in 3 to 4 years. It's really your willingness to take the time to do the training to move up the ladder.
Oh, that's great. That's actually really good. So let's talk about the high school experience. So let's say hypothetically someone comes to you, they've enrolled in their first automotive class at a local tech center. What might they expect to be able to get in terms of prep for the college courses that might be available at a Manchester community college? What's going on in high schools right now that they should be paying attention to?
So in the high schools, they do have the local CRTC, for example, at Concord High here, and it's a wonderful program. It doesn't teach you in-depth everything, but it gets you the general knowledge of what a car is, what components there are, and the different systems in the vehicle. You also learn some light maintenance and repair work while you're in there. This allows you the opportunity to see if it's really something that you want to do for a living. We also have co-op programs where they send you out here, internship programs where they send you out here and you spend a few weeks here at the dealership, an hour, 2 hours a day with a technician, and gives you an industry peek. Is this really something that you want to do? From there, you can move into a community college program or a post-secondary. From there, it's far more in-depth training. They're going to spend a lot of time with you going over each and every system. While you're in there, you also have your co-op programs where you come out here to the dealerships. So it's almost like 8 weeks in the school and 8 weeks out here at the dealership. I like to separate those two into two different things. You're going to spend time in the school learning on how cars work, and then you're going to come here to the dealership and learn how to work on cars. It's two different things, but you get both of those when you go to post-secondary, and you're good.
That sounds great. Is there a certification process or any certificate that you get out of the high school level programs, or is that more reserved for the college level?
So there's a ton of different resources available at the high school level. Some of them are through the local tool manufacturers, like Snap-on offers some certification programs at the high school level. You could, if you wanted to, go after some ASEs and things like that. And then actually Ford launched a Ford ACE program, which allows the high school students to start their web-based Ford training while they're still in high school. So if they decide to go after Ford Asset or some post-secondary school, they've already got some factory certifications under their belt.
Oh, that's really good. Let's take Manchester Community College as an example. They've got a very impressive automotive technology program down there that is also tied to Ford. So seeing as how we're sitting in a Ford dealer right now, using it as an example, what kinds of skills would an MCC level program be able to provide to students that would be helpful to you?
So for MCC in the 2 years that they spend there, they obviously get Ford factory training. And when they graduate from that program in 2 years, they are fully certified. So what I would normally need to send somebody to school for a week here and a week there, it could take them 3 to 5 years to get those certifications. By the time they're done MCC, they know how to do steering and suspension, transmissions, electrical, you name it. They've got the whole car down.
Oh, that's impressive. Let's talk about you for a couple of minutes. As a service manager here, share with me a little bit about what your typical day looks like. So let me throw a few questions. For example, what does your schedule look like? What's a clock in, clock out day look like for you?
Sure. So currently I get to work at 6:45 in the morning. We do have a lot of COVID protocols, so we've got to check everybody in, take their temperatures, and ask the questions that are appropriate to that. But aside from the COVID protocols that we have here, obviously my day is pretty interesting. It changes. I do have some administrative stuff, emails, paperwork, things like that, but I get to spend the bulk of my day either with in the shop with the technicians or with customers or with the team up front here.
What do you consider some of your favorite perks?
Some of my favorite perks are being able to watch kids come in here from the high school level and turn into certified technicians. And I've got a few examples in mind that, I've known them since they were at that high school level, and now they've got, they're fully certified, they're producing a living for their families, and, they've done that all through the local resources that are all right here in our backyard.
So you climbed the ladder yourself. You've done it all, if you will. And now that you're at the manager level, what are the things about the job that you love the most personally?
So personally, I like to try and open up the door in the same path to people that I had. So I like to pay it back, and that's probably the biggest perks of the job. I get to work with the local high school that I went to their automotive program. I get to work with post-secondary schools, specifically Manchester Community College, because I went through them for the Ford program. And then I get to open that door for the students coming up through the high school to become certified technicians here. So when I get to actually watch them go through that path, that's kind of what lights me up.
In the structure of the business, of the corporation, if you will, what does a service manager do? What are your job responsibilities?
So there's many as a service manager. I mean, myself there's 48 team members. You need to make sure that they all have the same tools and resources to be able to do their job properly, and that they're all happy. At the end of the day, if we keep our team members happy, they can take care of our guests or customers as they come in the door.
Love that. Let's talk a little bit randomly about the business and about you. Your path itself, I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. Tell me a little bit about your growth path and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so my path started with Concord High School at their CRTC program. I was a little bit lost as a high school student, didn't know quite what I wanted to do, but I had this automotive program, and the teacher referred me to the service manager here down at Grappone. So I came down, I met him, he gave me a shot, and I changed oil. I did that for probably 1 to 2 years. I graduated high school. I went to post-secondary for the Ford program at Manchester Community College. From there, I became a certified technician. After I was a certified tech, I got to be really good at what I was doing and became a team leader out in the shop. And one day I saw someone struggling on the front desk. There was a whole lot of customers out there. He was buried, he needed help, and I jumped on the front counter, and that kind of transitioned me into service advisor. He was also nice enough to train me as the service advisor. So, one thing led to another. I've held a number of positions here at Grappone since then, but I ultimately came back as the service manager. And Grappone is a great company to work for because they're one to support you and hire and then promote from within. We obviously hire from the outside, but it's a culture of growing here, and they're willing to teach you and put the time in, which is great.
So when someone comes up to you as a young person and says, I am literally at my first step of this journey, I want to do what it is that you're doing, how long does that take? What's the timeline look like?
So it's different for everyone. I would say it really has to do with your drive and the companies that you interview with. You want to make sure you're with a company that allows you to grow and wouldn't hold you back. So those may be some questions that you ask in your interview, what's the growth process? But really it's on yourself, and the timeline is on yourself and how fast and how much you put into it as far as growth goes. Like I said, I've had some technicians get training done in 3 months and some in 3 to 5 years, and it was a similar scenario for me going from lube technician to service manager. It was as the opportunities approached themselves, I took the jump and I took the leap, and then I did as best I could in that position until the next one presented itself.
Is this a good time generally to be joining this industry? We're in such challenging times. Is the timing good?
Right now is a great time to become a technician. We are in severe shortage of technicians, and the vehicles themselves are becoming more and more complex to work on. So if you want a job with job security, right now is the time to jump in.
What is a job co-op?
So a job co-op is something that they have at the post-secondary schools where you spend half of your time in class learning about the vehicles, and then the other half you leave for your co-op. You come here to the dealership and you work 40 hours a week. You're on the clock, you're on the payroll, you're getting paid to learn while you're here. We'll set you up with a mentor in the shop, and then over time you start becoming a productive technician with the more experience that you have.
So you've had this really impressive career path. You've kind of done it all around here. Looking back, is there a piece of wisdom that you wish someone had passed along to you a little bit earlier on that you had to maybe learn the hard way that's now a nugget of wisdom you'd want to pay forward?
So, no, I wouldn't say that. And the reason I do is because I met some wonderful people along the way that said those things that they should have said, and I took them up on it. One was the high school teacher at the CRTC at Concord High saying, hey, I've got a job interview lined up for you if you want automotive. Here's the path, they gave that to me. I can remember the teachers at Manchester Community College telling us that we need to learn electrical because that was going to be a big thing, so pay attention to electrical, and I did, and thank goodness, because electrical is the big thing these days, electrical and electronics, so that certainly saved me. Another piece of advice was to learn how to live off of 40 hours a week, because anything else can be bonus. But if you start getting used to 50, 60 hours a week and spending all of your earnings, it might put you in a tight position if you have slow weeks. Because obviously, like any job, it ebbs and flows in terms of how busy we get. So Every little piece of information that I got along the way was said to me, I feel like, at the right moments, and I took it. So I want to be able to pay that forward, obviously.
That's great advice. My last question to you is, how would you describe your experience in working with the NHADA on projects such as this?
NHADA is great. They've got their heart in the right place, and they want to support the industry, like us, like Grappone, and then they want to support the students, the high schools, and the community colleges to give everybody what they need. You know, it's one thing to have the resources available. It's another to understand that all of them that are available to you, and NHADA kind of helps bridge that gap.
Do you have a favorite show or podcast right now?
I guess these are rapid fire. So a favorite show or podcast? I don't right now.
You're just too busy.
Yeah, I'm just too busy.
That's all right. Do you have any pets?
I have one cat. That's it.
Outside of what you do for a living here, do you have any hobbies?
I have a ton of hobbies. Yeah, I snowboard, I snowmobile, and I ice skate. And then in the summertime, I ride a Harley Davidson.
Those are some good hobbies. I'm already jealous. Tell us about your very first car.
So my very first car was a 1987 burgundy red Mustang. I've always wanted a Mustang. I can remember when I was a child, I had explained to somebody that I wanted one, and they kind of looked at me and said, you know, good luck, keep dreaming. So from there on out, I really wanted one. And I got my first job when I was 15, saved my pennies for it, and my dad emptied my account one day when he saw a red Mustang sitting on the side of the road, and I got home from school and it was sitting there.
Awesome. That's a great story. I love it. What are your favorite pizza toppings?
Mushrooms and onion.
Good choice. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, goodness. I feel like I was asked this the other day at like game night or something. Any superpower, I guess, would be to fix anything I wanted to fix.
Perfect. The sleuthing ability. That's perfect for this industry. Adam, thanks so much for sitting down with us.
No problem. Thank you.
As always, you can follow us on Facebook. Make sure you like and share some of our posts, and you can definitely check out our YouTube channel.